Here we're looking at PHP info in the beginning, and you can see we have max execution time. We're talking about timeouts. Now, you can have a script timeout, and this is the default timeout of 30 seconds here. That's how long the script has a chance to execute. You could reset that to 0, for example, and then you get infinite time. So it depends on what you're doing, really. 30 seconds is a long time. Maybe you want to up that to a minute, for example. There are other ways to set this as well, but this is just something to keep in mind that you can change. If you're dealing with a hosting provider, you might have to let them know that you're going to do that, because otherwise you won't be able to really update it for it to work throughout your website. There's a function called set_time_limit, and you want to check that out. That's a PHP function that allows you to adjust this, and there are other ways to do that as well, and I just wrote it out here. You could take a peek at that if you want to. There are also MySQL limits as well that you might want to look into. If you do a search on timeout here in the PHP ini file, you'll find that there's an Apache timeout, and there's other things that you can set here as far as keep alives and more server processing type things that you can take care of. The SQL connection timeout is another thing that you might want to update, but normally you can keep it set as is. Sometimes you have to update that if you are far away from the SQL server. You could be international, for example, and you might have to manipulate that. But many times you don't have to do that. So you might want to take a look at the timeouts and then find out what each of those can do for you. The first one that I did mention would be the one that you could take advantage of. And you can just see even other ones that have time. And this one's the one in particular that we would take care of. The max execution time. And you can set that maybe to 60 to give yourself more time to have a script execute, or shorter. It depends on what you want to do. Shorter is really not going to be such a good option. You want this to have enough time to execute for your clients, the entire script that's going to execute. But oftentimes you can get away with 90 seconds, because if you're doing something really big that requires a lot of database activity, and then it just returns a really big file, for example, if you get the timeouts, that's when you want to worry about that. But I'm just kind of letting you know about what you could do, and really this is one of the ones that you probably would want to change.